I'm officially retired now from tournament snooker. I made the decision about 3 months ago. Only told 2 or 3 people, but yeah, this is me finished from tournament snooker.
What an ambassador he has been for our game of snooker, and he's helped to grow the game all over the world. Wherever he's gone, he's been very, very popular, and well done to the King of the Crucible.
I think that the snooker world would just respect this man for what he's achieved. He was something special, the best player, the best match player, the best competitor I've ever known.
I've had so many great memories. You know, youngest world champion, 3 maximums.
Absolutely fantastic! There's only one, Stephen Hendry!
In the 90s, I mean, I think I won 5 in a row here. You know, there was a time when I just felt invincible.
It's a magnificent...
The record books will tell you what Stephen Hendry was, and it will leave a hole in snooker.
It's for people's opinion who's the best player, but as long as I'm in that discussion, then, you know, I've done all right. I was in the sport to win, not to just be one of the others. I wanted to be the best, and for a little while I was.
I respect him for that decision. He's made a decision based on the fact that he's always been at the top of his profession. He feels now that he's not, then I think it's a good call.
Just like to thank him on behalf of everybody for making the game popular and keeping it popular.
As they say, the years pass by, but the legend is eternal.
And the newly retired Stephen Hendry is enjoying the first day of the rest of his life as an ex-sportsman.
I know,
how does that
weird.
sound? How does it feel?
Very strange, very strange. Woke up this morning, obviously lots of texts on the phone, messages, and yeah, it's a relief that it's all over now.
I think the announcement last night took a lot of people by surprise, but this was not a spur of the moment, a knee-jerk reaction to your defeat by Stephen Maguire. And how crucial an impact has your family been in all of this, and what's been their reaction to this?
Well, I mean, it's well known. I sort of thought about it last year after the World Championship, but decided to give it another year, try and get back in the top 16. That hasn't worked out, and obviously with my schedule of work, the schedule of tour, you know, I was spending less and less time at home, and obviously you know your kids grow up and you don't even see them growing up. It's hard. So yeah, about 2 or 3 months ago, I decided, my wife and I says, the time's right. You know, I've got commitments that I do in China, and I couldn't do both. It was just impossible.
You're 43 now, Steve. This sport has been your life and your work since you turned pro at 16 years of age. And I just wonder, when you start to think about this, what will you miss about all of this, and what won't you miss?
Well, I'll miss walking out in the Crucible to play. That's one thing, because it's just amazing to play there. You know, I'll miss the play. You know, being around the players. You know, I get on well with most of them, and you know, having their laughs. I won't miss the hours of practice. That over the last few years, that has become harder and harder to do. That's something I won't miss at all. You know, and I won't miss, you know, the sort of smaller events that have started happening. You know, I've been public in saying how much I haven't enjoyed playing in those. So yeah, there's more that, you know, good things than bad things. But I'm looking forward to my retirement. Yeah,
well, you will be missed, and I know that there's a lot of people here in the Winter Gardens that will wish you well.
Tim, what's the great man's legacy?
Safety play. He's going to be a hard act to follow, but maybe one of the young...
I think there's no chance. He's made his decision and it's final. But you know, Steve, we've had so many tweets and texts. I know you've had tons of them as well, obviously. And let's just get some reaction from some of your fellow players. And indeed, Joe Johnson, they may forget what you did, they may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Stephen, you were the best pal. Andy Murray, tennis, of course, in Scotland, and a man that I know you greatly admire as well. Stephen, Andy says, shame to see Stephen Hendry retire. Loved watching him when I was growing up. Snooker legend, best ever. Jimmy White, and you've had some great tussles with him. I thank him sincerely for some of the best matches and memories of my own career. I'm not sure his records will ever be equalled. And Sean Murphy, most successful snooker player of all time. Stephen Hendry retires. I can't believe it. Well, very generous indeed from Jimmy White, and a lot of great comments. You know, we were hearing people saying there is obviously no question if you're changing your mind. That's it, done. Okay. So in that respect, when you look back at at that 147 a week pass on Saturday, knowing that very few people knew that you were going to retire, how much extra satisfaction did that moment give you to go out on the high?
Well, I mean, obviously I was a little bit more animated than I have been for previous 147s, and that was the reason. Obviously, I knew it was my last time playing at the Crucible, and to make a 147 my last time was just, you know, I couldn't have dreamt that up. It was just fantastic feeling.
You know, Steve, when you look back on all of this, you've done more than anybody in the game in terms of world ranking wins, 36. You've got 7 world titles, 775 centuries. You must have thought about this. What has given you the edge in this sport? Can you put your finger on it? Do you know why?
I think in the 90s, nothing was ever enough. You know, whenever I won a tournament, I wanted to, you know, I was, you know, almost straight to the practice table the next day to win the next one. You know, I never rested on my laurels at any stage. I was greedy to win more and more and more, and I think that hunger is the main thing that's not there anymore, and the main thing, you know, one of the reasons why I'm retiring, because you need that hunger to keep winning, to keep practicing, to keep working, and I think that was the edge I had over a lot of my opponents. I was working hard when they were perhaps not.
And was it the feeling of winning, of beating someone, which kept you coming back, more than all of the success, more than all of the titles?
Oh yeah, winning meant everything. I mean, you know, everyone sort of, I wasn't the most emotional guy when I won tournaments, you know, I wasn't like, you know, crying or really animated when I won trophies, because basically it was a sort of an anticlimax at the end of the event. You know, after I won the tournament, it was just weeks of hard work that has gone rewarded, and then thinking about the next one. So it was just, I wouldn't say I was like a machine, but basically that's all it was all on about, winning. That's all I was interested in. You know, upon reflection, was there one moment of perfection in the way you played that stands out for you? One moment that will always live with you? You thought, this is it? Obviously your first one, the first world title, the youngest world champion, but I think 147s is the most perfect thing you can do in snooker, and to do that here 3 times, you know, winning championships is fantastic, but for an actual single buzz, a 147 is just special. John Higgins actually was questioned about you and Steve Davis, and he summed it up. He said, Davis loves snooker, Hendry loves winning. I think that rather sums it up. So how are you going to suppress or indeed rechannel those competitive instincts, because they can't go away? No, but I think, you know, over the last few years, it's gradually, you know, as I said before, the hunger, the self-belief that I had in the 90s has gradually been whittled away by bad results, bad performances, and you know, that's the main reason why I'm retiring, because I'm in the sport to win. I always have been, and if you take the winning away from it, you take the enjoyment away from me. Will anyone ever surpass 7 world titles? It's looking at the way that I would say no, because there's so many great players competing with each other to win every tournament. But, you know, records are there to be broken. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. You know, John Higgins, you know, perhaps I've delayed him for one more year by beating him this year, but he's won 4. He's easily good enough if he wants to win another, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 even. So it's hard to say. Well, Stephen, can I just say on behalf of millions of people watching, thank you so much for not just all the moments of snooker, but for the moments of sport that you've given us over the last quarter of a century. And can I also say that, as one of my colleagues once said, you're about to join the has-beens on the TV snooker sofa now. And once you get your earpiece in, because this is you at work now, pal, take a look over the running order for today, and I'll tell everybody else what's on offer this afternoon.
Snooker's ultimate professional.
7 world titles.
Dedicated, determined and ambitious.
"36 ranking victories.
Remorseless in the pursuit of victory.
11 maximum breaks.
A warrior on the table, a gentleman off it.
9 years ranked world number 1.
The greatest player in the history of our game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stephen Hendry.
Stephen.
Perhaps not with a quarter-final, but yeah, to make a maximum, my last visit here was something special. I've had so many great memories here. I've been so fortunate to have such a brilliant career, so to leave here tonight is fantastic. Walking down them stairs, but with a cue in my hand. This was more nerve-wracking, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Hendry.